Hi everyone, so you might remember that I started a bullet journal a few months ago and I did a video showing you how I was setting it up and how I was using it, and I got some really good feedback on that, so I thought I'd just update you on how I'm getting on with it and just what I think of the whole bullet journal system thing. So just in case you haven't seen the first video, this is the notebook that I'm using. It's the Muji A5 PP notebook. We have the introduction page. As we go along, there are some things that I'm going to have to blur out, but this is just a little introduction page with a picture of me here and just some contact details in case anyone finds this, if I lose it on the train or something. So yeah, that's just how it is. I really like how that turned out. This is kind of the style that I've kept throughout the whole journal. Everything is just very minimal, but quite fun and scribbly. And then we have the index page right here. I don't personally use the index pages a lot, but then again, I haven't had this system for very long, so maybe it will come in handy in a few months or even a few years if I'm looking back on this particular notebook. And then we have my yearly spread here. I really like this. It turned out really well. It was much easier to sketch this than I thought it would be. It actually didn't take very long at all. I will point out, in this particular notebook, the pages do kind of get scuffed quite easily. The paper isn't as good quality as some other notebooks that are quite popular for bullet journaling, like Moleskine for example. It's not quite as thick, so I think this was where I drew something in pencil and then I rubbed it out and it kind of scuffed the page a bit. Even pages that I didn't rub anything out, I'll have just turned it a bit too quickly or something. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get this particular notebook again when I've filled everything up in here, but that is such a shame because everything else about this notebook is absolutely perfect for my needs. And then we have the May 2017 monthly spread. I really like these monthly spreads, even though you'll be able to see that I don't actually put a lot in these monthly spreads because usually I just put everything on the weekly spreads, which I also do. However, I do quite like the monthly spread. It's what I have on my laptop as well, so it's just quite nice to be able to flip back and forth. So I will keep doing that. And then this is where the chaos begins. These are my weekly spreads. So all my weekly spreads look exactly like this. I found a style that I liked and I just stuck with it. I thought I might experiment a bit, maybe try other weekly layouts, or maybe I'd try the odd daily layout, but actually this is just what works for me. I said this in my first video, but I don't actually use rulers at all when I'm doing my bullet journaling. So I'll have just got the lines here by just drawing straight across the dotted grids. It makes it look quite relaxed and just playful, and it'll just have the same colours throughout as well. So I've got this pink pen from Tombow, I've got this kind of blue one, and then this violet one, which is almost so similar to the blue that I sometimes can't tell them apart, but I do love the shades that I got and I'm definitely going to get more of these pens. I highly recommend them. I'll have the links to them in the description box below. They're just the watercolour ones with the nice brush tip, and they've also got a finer point which I use in this bullet journal as well. You'll see that I have the finer one on the dates. But as I was saying, this is what my weekly spreads typically look like. They're quite chaotic, it's a bit of a brain dump. That is just how I do things. It looks a bit messy, but this is just how my brain works. So this was something that I tried in May. I just put a list of videos that I wanted to film, a list of blog posts that I needed to write, and a list of photos to take for the blog posts. This didn't really work that well for me. It was a good idea in principle because I'm always making content. However, my ideas change all the time, you know, just from day to day. I can come up with an idea for a video and then the next day completely hate it and not want to film it. So that didn't really work. I'm not going to be doing this again, but I do have some other things later on to do with blogging and YouTube and all that stuff. And then we have a few more weekly spreads just in that same style. And then we get to this page. This is just where I wanted to have some souvenirs from a blogging event that I went to, and this was another event in Liverpool that I went to here. These are the train tickets. I like how these pages look, however, because this paper is so thin, it makes it really difficult to kind of turn the pages like that. If I did want to have another bullet journal where I do stick in train tickets and mementos. I would probably go for one with higher quality paper for sure. I have the odd little quote, like this one. I don't know, these are just things that I see on Pinterest and that inspire me, so I just keep a note of them in here. I just think it's nice. It kind of breaks up the pages to have the odd little quote in there. And then this is where I was just brainstorming some blog posts ideas. I like stuff like this because it's a good way to kind of get everything out of my brain. And then we have the June monthly spread, exactly the same as the previous monthly spread. I did kind of practice drawing like monthly and weekly spreads before I put everything in this particular notebook, so I didn't just kind of guess that this would all be absolutely fine. I did sort of plan it out a bit, and that's why there's not a huge amount of trial and error. On this weekly spread I just put everything on one page, because that weekend I was away, so I didn't need those extra dates. And then I just had a travel checklist for when I went away. I don't take anything off, I just kind of keep it there. And then I have this memories page. So that's from the YouTube Creator Day. This is a ticket from the tubes in Brussels. This is a bus ticket from the first time I went to stay at my boyfriend's house, and that's a little Polaroid of my boyfriend. I do like having this kind of thing in here, but again, this paper isn't really ideal for sticking something down. But I do really like this page. I do really like how it turned out. This page is Smaller Habits, Bigger Results. So I'm actually subscribed to a newsletter by a friend of mine called Jolie Creates, and she put out this one newsletter talking about, instead of feeling really overwhelmed by a huge goal, you can break it down to something a lot smaller and just make a little habit. So for example, one of my goals is to grow my Instagram following, and instead of feeling a bit overwhelmed by that, I can just make some smaller habits, like making sure that I'm logging on Instagram throughout the day and just liking lots of people's photos, making sure that I'm following a certain number of people per day. So all these little goals are actually quite easy. Like logging onto Instagram is really easy. So it's just all these small little habits that will hopefully add up over time to a growth of my Instagram. So there's a subscriber growth on YouTube, and there's a bit of space if I think of any more smaller habits that I can do here. There's Instagram, and there's blog loving, so that's blog followers, there's weight loss, and then there's mental health, and there's still space if I think of something else that I want to make small habits to achieve. And then there are some quotes here. So there's dream it, believe it, achieve it, which I think I saw on a paper chase postcard. And then this is a quote from my friend Andy Barry, which is simply, stop giving a fuck. I think that's quite inspirational. And then we have a page after the terror attack in Manchester. It's just got the worker bee here, which is quite symbolic in Manchester, and it just says we stand together underneath. This is the only page in this bullet journal where I don't use these colours because I wanted this page to stand out. And then there's more weekly spreads in June, and I started using little post-its as well, which I actually really like doing. So this is kind of when I want to film something. I have a list of the videos that I want to film all on this post-it, because what will often happen is I'll be planning my week in advance and I'll think, ooh, I'll film my videos on Tuesday, but then something will come up and instead I'll have to film on the Thursday. So instead of having to kind of write everything out, scribble it out, and then write it again another day, if I put it on a post-it, I can just kind of move it around, and that made the whole thing so much easier. Another weekly spread, more post-its, another weekly spread. And then I wrote out some goals for my YouTube channel. So just a few things about this channel that I really wanted to polish a bit. So one of the targets was to create a strong channel brand. That's why I started using the new intro that you see in the beginning of my videos. And there's also a little reminder on here to make an updated channel trailer at some point. And then another goal is to promote the crap out of myself, because I don't really use other social media as much as I should. There were also a few things I wanted to do to step up my videos as well. One of them was buy the lens that I'm using right now, and I also wanted to improve my colour grading. And then the other goal is to put more personality into my videos as well. I still haven't thought of many ways to do that, but when I do, I can just put them there. And then we have August because I skipped July. That is the good thing about a bullet journal though. If you don't use it for 1 month or however long it is, it doesn't really matter because you won't have a ton of empty pages. You'll just be able to start drawing again where you left off. So this is my August spread, and then there's more weekly spreads. And then we have more weekly spreads after that one. I'm actually filming this on this week, which is why the rest of the weeks are going to look a bit plain. But one thing that I really wanted to do was just keep more of the calendar pages together. So I made sure that I drew all of August at the same time, because for another month earlier on, it had some weekly spreads and then there was loads of creative stuff in the middle, and it just made it really difficult to kind of navigate in between the different tasks that I needed to do. So definitely in the future I am going to be keeping all of my weekly spreads for a month closer together and then breaking it up with the creative stuff. I've also started to end the weekly spreads on the end of the month as well, so this one actually ends on the Thursday because that's the end of August. And then next to it we have some blog and channel notes. So this is when I was trying to just really fine-tune the branding on this channel. So there's just a few kind of ideas on here. So there's my kind of mantra, which is the creative lifestyle, and that's all about creating stuff and teaching people how to create stuff. That's what I'm trying to do here, that's what I'm trying to do on my blog. And then there's ideas for the 3 types of content that I make here and on my blog, which are hub, help, and hero content. So hub is the kind of staple videos that you guys will keep coming back for. They're the ones that can show quite a lot of personality, like my vlogs, my monthly catch-up videos. The help videos are my tutorials, and then hero is not as frequent, but it's the kind of thing that you spend a lot of time on and has the potential to go viral. So there's just lots of different ideas for those 3 types of content, which all channels are a mix of these 3 sort of pieces of content, whether they're aware of it or not. And then on the next page, this is what my brain looks like. So we have blog post ideas, which are split up into the categories that I have on my blog: lifestyle, diary, blogging, photography and filming. And then we have video ideas, which is split up into this channel, which is my main channel, and my little beauty channel as well. And you can see it's a spider diagram, it's very messy, it's very crammed together. So I do really like doing this, but definitely next time I'm going to do this, I will probably have just blog post ideas over a whole double spread, and I'll also have video ideas over an entire double spread, 1 page for Alice Red, 1 page for Alice Clare, because as you can see it does get filled up quite quickly. And then on the next page we have some 5-year goals. I've been thinking a lot recently about where do I see myself in 5 years and stuff. So there are 3 points so far, but there's still space if I wanted to add to that later. So one of my goals is to be a full-time content creator. You know, so my job will be my blog and my YouTube channels. My second goal is to have my own place. And my third goal is that I want to be in a serious relationship and have an amazing group of friends. I do already have that, so I guess another way of phrasing that goal is that I want to maintain the positive relationships that I already have and still have them in 5 years. That would be wonderful. And then that's how far I've got. So I'm less than halfway through the bullet journal. There's still loads of space. I know that my bullet journal might look a little bit more minimal than a lot of other journals that are on the internet, but I do really like this system. Even though it's not as elaborate and there aren't many fancy drawings, a bullet journal is anything that you want it to be. So if you can't draw, that doesn't mean that you can't have a bullet journal. There is no drawing in this bullet journal, but I've still kept it going for a few months now and I do really enjoy it. A bullet journal can be absolutely anything that you want it to be, and for me personally, a bullet journal is a massive brain dump. So it's a list of all the things that I need to do in a day, it's channel ideas, it's blog ideas, it's reminders, it's deadlines. It's just a way to keep all of the mess out of my head and put it onto paper. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in the comments if you have a bullet journal, what notebook you use, and let me know if you want to see more bullet journal videos. Thanks so much for stopping by. I will see you next Friday. at 6 p.m. Bye!